forward to the day when we can all meet in person and enjoy the best that we have to offer each other. The theme of this session challenges to think about what we want to our regions to be in the future. And it is up to us to work together and coordinate it to ensure that we are in fact building smart regions and smart countries where smart populations live. Because smart people can be also happier people. It is essential that municipalities can be deeply committed to this mission. And today, we bring together a group of people who plays very significant roles in the success of what is intended. Allow me please to make a very
It's not just me.
Hello, good afternoon again. So, Celine, can you introduce our first speaker, please?
Yes. So hello everyone. Welcome to my lecture to the session about SmarTomorrow. My name is Lisa. I'm from working for the Irabia team. I'm happy to be your moderator for today's session as well. So our first speaker is Eddie Hartog. I'm happy to have you here. Welcome. Mr. Hartog is from the European Commission, is head of the unit for technology for smart communities, and comes actually from the field of political economy, was concerned about trade policy, regional policy, and maritime policy, and lately as well for information society and media policy. So a wide range of different fields and their careers for your work today. And I would hand the word to you now. The stage is yours.
Celine, I couldn't hear you very well, but I took from your introduction that you passed me the floor. Is that correct?
Yes, this is correct. So is that better like this?
It is much better like that.
Okay,
yes.
So my headphones don't work that well. Thank you for this information. So yes, the floor is yours. I'm happy for your words.
Excellent. No, I'm delighted to be with you. Unfortunately, not in Alentejo. Would have been loved to be there, and I want to thank Marcos personally as well for all his efforts leading up to this summit and the work he's done with us as a European Commission, but also in his project, of course, the immense work that he has put in that allows us to be together, at least virtually today. The good thing about meeting virtually is that you actually get a lot of people in the room that otherwise might not have had the opportunity to travel to Alentejo. And I think that's very important also today in the panel that we have at this moment with all the local representatives, because it's a bit of a platitude to say everything takes place in cities and villages, but it is the truth. It is the truth that you are at the forefront of the engagement with the cities. And for us, to be honest, I say cities, I mix it with communities, but there's not much of a difference in terms of the challenges that you all have in this difficult time, whether you're in an urban area or a rural area. In a way, we need to solve all of this together. And that's why I like very much the title of this summit, of a common vision for a smarter tomorrow. I mean, that's really what we are about, to make sure that together with our citizens, we deliver better services, we facilitate the SMEs in our ecosystems to grow. Now, one of the nice things about these seminars often is that you then find people displaying how good they are. And I have a couple of thousand number one regions. I have thousands of number one cities in all sorts of things, and many claim that sort of the leadership role. And it's good to claim that leadership role. For me, it's even more important to see what can we do to actually make the work better for all our citizens, because those prizes and the labels don't mean much for them if they don't get the service that they need. And that is where that word co-opetition is such a good word for me, because it mixes this idea of cooperation, working together, and at the same time competition, because we can all help each other to step it up. And I quite like the way that the cities and the villages have taken that up, because sometimes you find some of the smaller communities leading over the bigger ones. And that has to do with the personal involvement of the political leaders that we have. And we have a couple of them present today, and I'm really delighted with that. But it also has to do with the way you are able to engage the citizens. And I was at some of the summit as well yesterday, and later on we will have a session with national and regional leaders. And for me, the key word is really to do this together. And I hope that this summit, even though we're not physically together, will allow us to follow up conversation. I've tried to link up with some of you already via LinkedIn to really take this forward from here on. And that is really my plea for you today, to see how we can make that work. As a European Union, I mean, you can have smart cities conversations, whether in the OECD or the United Nations or in academic seminars, and they are very interesting. We learn a lot. I come from the European Union, and we are a specific set of people. And I'm proud to be that we all together in that European Union. And we do it our way, and we also make the instruments available to you our way. Now, the number of instruments that we as a European Commission have made available, for which we will do calls. I think an important one is the Horizon Europe mission on climate neutral and smart cities, for which we will start the evaluation process very soon. And we hope that you will all join us in there to be a smart and green city. We will have funding available under the digital program, where also we try to help you to actually procure the right stuff together. And I come to that a little bit later. We know that there are really the high flyers, the so-called number ones, the couple of, I think we have 300 or 400 number ones in Europe that are the leading cities. They know what to do, and with them we will work towards the local digital twin. We also have a number of cities that have started their thinking process. They've made the budget available, and they are sort of in the process of procuring hardware and software. And I think we can help them go together. And there are also cities and communities that are actually a bit struggling to see what they can do. And we want to make sure that we do not leave them behind and create another digital divide. So that is what we can do at central level. But more importantly, the bulk of the funding is actually at your level. Even the European funding through the Recovery and Resilience Funds and through the Cohesion Policy Funds are at the local level. And you can provide plans to the European Union to invest in the digital transformation of cities and communities. I think we find common ground here, and I will bring that to the next panel to say that there's a level of disappointment of, let's say, the money reserved for the digital transformation at local level in the Recovery and Resilience Funds. The plans that I've seen, some of them are trying to put that in, but I think we can actually do a better effort to step that up. And for that, we need to make a joint effort together. On the cohesion policy funds, the programs are now trickling in, but with the percentages, 8% of investments in urban areas that are required, with the earmarking of digital funds, I hope that we can step up that effort together. And that brings me off who we are together. With a number of your representative organizations, the OESC, the European Network of Living Labs and Eurocities, we sat together some 3 years ago and said, well, let's not have the European Commission do things for the cities and then the cities having to deliver, but let's really bring these cities together with the European Commission in one big movement, as we call it, this living in.eu movement that you've probably heard a couple of times already over the last couple of days. And that is really cities working for cities. So doing it together, finding ways to join up the effort together. And that is what I've been working on over the last 2 years. I have the privilege of chairing that steering group where we bring a number of the cities together. And one novelty is that we really do it with cities. Often you find that these different levels, we act on behalf of, we do it for, we give you guidance, we give you money, but no, we really want to build it up together. But also, and I already mentioned the pride I have in being part of the European Union, we do it in a European way, with European values on data protection, on citizens engagement, and also European values on how we involve our business to make sure that there are no monopoly positions or dominant positions coming in or vendor locking. So that is really what this movement has tried to do. Now I'll spare you the details on what are the individual deliverables that we have. But I think it's really important to see that, and it's actually new, that we have worked from a movement, a policy, into the funding. Often you see that the funding instruments, and then we do a call, and then we bring the cities together and hope that they gel. Here we try to gel the cities first, and then make the money available for those cities that want to join. And here there's a little critical note to the participants of today's session. From the 10 participants, only 2 have signed. Now, I won't name the ones that have signed and have not signed the declaration, but 8 out of 10 still have a step to go in signing that declaration. And congratulations to Alentejo. They signed this week, so they are also part of this overall movement that we do with national governments, regional government, and city government. So maybe we can step it up. And I'm going to leave it there as a first introduction. And I hope that the colleagues from the cities and communities will answer some of the questions that I have. And one question is also, how do you work together in your region? Because what we've noticed is that together, if I bring 80,000 cities together and say, let's do a joint procurement for hardware and software, that's not going to work. That's too complicated, too cumbersome. If you have one city that does it or one community that does it, it's not going to work either, because you start reinventing the wheel. There's probably an optimum scale to be found at regional level to bring 30, 40, 50 cities and communities together. And then do the procurement together. And that is really that effort that we need. And we saw that yesterday in one of the seminars as well. And my question to you is, how do you bring that digital transformation together with those cities and villages around you? And my second question is then back to me. What do you think we can do as a European Commission to further encourage you in the effort? We've tried to bring a movement together. We've tried to put money up. What are the other things that we can do to help you? So I hope that in the introductions afterwards, we can get an answer to some of those questions that I have. But I'm very happy also to continue the conversation with the group today collectively, but also with each of them individually afterwards. I'll leave it as an introduction with that. So thank you again for having me this afternoon.
Thank you, Hedy Hartog. This is a little bit a personal word I could share with you. So that's really a pleasure to have you, Hedy, here, because it's you are head of unit for the technologies for smart communities, but also an inspirer behind the Living in You movement. And we could see from your words how the importance you pay to the level, the regional level, the level of aggregation we are also trying to bring. And that's why we named this summit European Regions for Smart Communities, because we need that scale that regions may bring, and also to develop more and more inter-regional cooperations. But regions are made of communities, so that's for the communities to be also able to step out and bring their leadership, the individual leadership, their needs, their commitments, and then also their ability to cooperate cross-border within the communities, within the region. So that's why I'm so glad too that our president from Alentejo, our president, signed this week the declaration, Living in EU declaration. It was a long-term commitment we had already, but the right opportunity to do it was really during the summit. So that's just to let everybody know that Alentejo now, it's among the, I would say, the group of pilot group of regions most committed to that platform. I have also to share a word to Olavi Lutonen, the project officer, program and policy officer in the same unit as the same unit led by Eddie Artog, and Olavi has been a companion on this process of gathering regions and cities around these movements, and also enabling H2020 Rural Project to play a role on that field. So this session, I was told by Eddie, should be a dialogue between the Commission and the local leaders. This summit couldn't do without, so that's really an important moment in the summit, and that's very much an opportunity for Eddie to share these questions and to call and invite the mayors and the local leaders, the community leaders to engage in this dialogue with the Commission and among themselves. So now we have a panel with a few mayors that are present, others are sending presentations. So I would pass again to my co-moderator, Celine. Please introduce the next mayor.
Yes, sure. So I hope you can hear me now. Sorry for the audio problem earlier. I try now without headphones. Yes, thanks for the words, Mr. Hartog. Was very interesting and motivating. And now I would like to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Michael Granas, who's the mayor of the city of Sipu. I'm sorry if I pronounce any words or names wrongly. Please correct me afterwards. I'm happy for this. Mr. Granas is the mayor since 2011. And before he joined the public sector, he worked in the technology sector and comes from the field of business administration and executive MBA he has as well. So I'm very curious for your words and your little speech today, and I will pass the words to you now. Thank you.
Thanks for your kind words, Celine. I hope that you can all hear me. I tried to share my screen here. And probably didn't work properly. Let's try again. I hope now that you can see my presentation. I'll still put it on like this. Is it okay?
Yes, we see it.
Excellent. So, chilly greetings from Finland. My name is Mika Granas, and it was very well pronounced. I often also use Michael because that's kind of the easiest way to pronounce it. And Mikael is the Swedish version of it, so it's not that different. And I'm the mayor of the municipality of Sipoo. And I could put it a bit in the map first to start with. So we are the kind of the eastern neighbor of Helsinki. We are more of a rural community and not a city as such. We have two towns. We have forests, fields, a national park, and a very nice archipelago, right? Kind of like 30 minutes from the center of Helsinki. And first to start to answer a couple of the question from Eddie concerning cooperation, I would say that in our case, we have cooperations with 3 different regions. And that kind of like goes from a citizen base of 350,000 to roughly 100,000. So we have certain possibilities to do something together, but we also understand that we are kind of too small alone to take on the task of, for example, going in and having a certain lead role in an EU project concerning digitalization. What I see that we are kind of missing is that you could say, like Helsinki, they have the knowledge of what kind of EU projects are available and what kind of Horizon Europe calls are coming up. But in the regions, we actually don't know that much. So already kind of knowing what the possibilities would be, kind of like getting this information more on the grassroots and coming up from there and trying then to have a dialogue and see if we can find something suitable would be very valuable, at least from my perspective. But then coming into the presentation, the idea was that I would say couple of words about the disruption that the pandemic has had on our municipal teaching and how we see that that could kind of like what of the learnings could stay for the future time when the pandemic is over. So first, before the pandemic, we've been working with an educational IT project in our municipality for since roughly 10 years, which means that we have had very good basic skills and equipment actually for teachers and pupils to handle this situation where we are going into distant tuition. And for the grades 4 to 9, every pupil in Sipoo had a Chromebook equipped with Google Suite and basically building around Google Classroom and the adjacent then tools that are used for it. We have had digital learning materials produced, various courses, events, etc. organized, but normally as part of on-site tuition. And we have 17 schools. The largest one has 800 pupils, the smallest one's 50, which means that, of course, the usage has been very much depending on school and teacher as well, because it hasn't been kind of a forced situation. Then when the pandemic hit March last year, we got a national law to allow distant tuition, which we haven't had as a possibility before. What we did is very fast buy Chromebooks for all our pupils. That means grades 1 to 3. So by end of April, all our 3,000 pupils had a Chromebook and could start to use them together with all the teachers to kind of like go whole scale on distant tuition. And during this long period, we've been doing distance education purely. We've had coming back to online teaching or on-site teaching. Then again, we've switched between week by week hybrid models where some grades have been a week at home, the other grades have been at school. It's kind of like to decrease the amount of pupils that we have present physically in the school environment. And since early May now, we are back to on-site teaching again. The experiences that we had about this very abnormal situation is that theory lessons basically have been working very fine and smoothly. Various hand-on tuitions have been very cumbersome and difficult to organize, but the teachers have kind of come together and figured out ways to at least do decent learning or teaching for hands-on on subjects matters. Keeping a normal curriculum, as we've seen, has been very basically important for the pupils, but actually also for the teachers to keep some kind of a regularity in this very, very specific situation. And concerning then learnings, I would say that roughly 30% of the pupils have actually performed better than in the normal environment. But then again, roughly 20% of the pupils have performed very much worse, which is a fundamental problem. Roughly half of the pupils have been doing more or less okay or more or less the same as before. But the social challenge has actually been a much bigger one. Not being able to see your friends to hang around or play around in the breaks between the classes has been a big struggle, and many of the kids have had the feeling that they're kind of like imprisoned at home. Then a very special kind of Nordic problem that we've had is that we have free legal obligatory school lunches, and they had to be provided also when the kids were at home and not at school. And this was a logistical and kind of like otherwise also a very expensive and difficult thing to organize. Then considering what hopefully would happen after the summer holidays, return to some kind of a post-pandemic normal. So I assume that we will return to on-site tuition, but we will attempt to keep a very high level of digital skills and develop them further on, because we are now reached a level that we are very proud of and we don't want to lose it. We don't know what Finland is going to go about the educational law. Are they going to give more slack, or are they going to go back to the strict one saying that on-site tuition is the only proper way, or otherwise the parents are responsible of the kids by themselves? And I'm more hoping for a hybrid type of education possibility, and especially also with communicating with the parents. I think that we're going to continue digitally because the teachers partly the pupils, but especially the parents have been very satisfied with the way that we've been able to change the interaction between parents and school. For more rural areas, I think and hope that we'll be able to build up a permanent way of combining on-site and distant days during the week, so that the school traveling is not going to be as hard as it now when a pupil perhaps has 1 to 2 hours per direction in distance to get into school. That doesn't concern Sipoo, but other areas of Finland. We have been starting to cooperate much more within the municipality, but especially between municipalities concerning distance education for rare topics. And I think and hope that that's going to continue to evolve in the correct and better direction. And also, very delightfully, teachers have started to cooperate more with each other concerning producing, especially digital course material, which I think that we should try to further in the future as well. So that's briefly what I wanted to tell you about the situation concerning teaching in Sipoo. We signed the Living in EU Declaration, so I do a small commercial here on that point as well. And I thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your words. I think you're still sharing the screen.
Yeah, I try to kind of like, we are using Teams, so
no worries. Yeah,
I'm not that used to Zoom. This is actually the
questions.
first presentation I've ever done in Zoom originally, because it has kind of, because of certain data privacy issues, Zoom has actually been prohibited at least the whole last year in the Finnish municipalities.
Oh, okay. Well, you did very good. It was perfectly. Thank you very much.
Is it still sharing?
Yes, you're still sharing. I think on the upper right, yes. Perfect. Yeah, now we're...
Great, thanks.
Yes, thank you very much for these insights. Very interesting how you went on this comparison of how it was before and where you will go, which is of course not for sure and not certain yet, but sounds very interesting and like a role model concept. Thank you. I'm right now waiting for my moderation colleague. I'm not sure if I should already introduce the next speaker. Just give us some seconds, please.
To follow the session from another post, leaving the introduction of the next mayor to you. So please, I will make some comments about during the presentation, but move on the moderation, please. So.
Okay, all right, thank you. So our next speaker is Mr. Voiko Opsanel. He's a mayor too. He's the mayor of the city of Rijeka. I'm very happy to have you here today, Mr. Opsanel. Thank you very much for your time. So actually, Mr. Opsanel is already elected as the mayor for the 5th time in a row. And now it's his 6th term as the mayor of Rijeka. And his period of being a mayor is marked by the extremely successful withdrawal of European Union funds, and with them, the city of Rijeka is financing large development projects, but as well smaller projects too. I'm very curious to know more about this. As well, there is a very strong social agenda, which is followed by the city of Rijeka and already has very positive results in different sectors like economy and entrepreneurial sector, tourism, university and academia, and scientific and service activities. And it's very successful in the modern European city environment and future development, which I guess perfectly fits for the discussion today. So please, the stage is yours.
Hello, good afternoon to everyone, dear representative of the organizing committees, esteemed colleagues, mayors, dear participants. I'm really glad that I'm today with you, unfortunately online, but what we can do, I hope that in few months we will solve this big problem and it will be easier to be together in one place. Honestly, after such introduction, I don't know what to say more. Just few words. Rijeka is third biggest city in Croatia. And at the beginning of the new decade, cities are facing great opportunities for development and planning, and also challenges we have never known before. We live in a time when we cannot predict with certainty and technological possibilities, as well as climate, demographic, and health challenges that wait us for the next 10 years. We want the city of Rijeka be a city that is ready, open, adaptable to resilient for the changes and challenges that wait us. The transition from the industrial to digital age of Rijeka has shown that Rijeka has got the strength to be creative, adaptive, and innovative, and finding new names for old strengths. In the process of strategic planning together with our citizens, we have developed a vision of Rijeka for the next 10 years as the foundation of the city and as a basis for all other planning documents that we have prepared according to national and European guidelines. In the past period, Rijeka experienced great and numerous changes and profiled itself as a smart city, excellent for living and walking. In order for Rijeka to continue its development in this direction, it is necessary to draft a new strategic document that will be the basis for the development of the city in the coming period with the vision of the city until 2030. So after having passed through different kinds of workshops, conversation, and after taking into consideration the basic principle of development and strategic goals, measures, and activities, the City Council has confirmed this vision for Rijeka until 2020 as Rijeka smart, open, and resilient city. The vision of Rijeka until 2030 is based on the vision of the city that directs all its resources to improving the quality of life of its citizens, while creating new added value, its shape and support the economic development of the Rijeka area. In this context, 3 key concepts have been identified that will steer Rijeka towards 2030 and provide incentives for further development. A smart city relies on the existing strength of the city, which drive us to new and smart technologies in every development aspects. Rijeka, which has been declared the smartest city in Croatia for last 2 years, will continue to use modern technologies in all areas in order to improve the quality of life of its citizens. However, the smart city does not only mean the introduction of new technologies, but also to use of existing one and their improvement with better efficiency and smarter disposal. A smart city is sure of its advantages, but it is aware of the need to improve its own shortcoming, and this is exactly how we imagine the city of Rijeka in next 20 years. An open city represents a vision of Rijeka that cares for all its citizens and encourages their involvement and civic activity in all areas of life. Our vision of an open Rijeka in 2030 means a city that is open to all, a city that plans development with citizens and for the citizens. And finally, resilient city means a Rijeka that resists all temptation and adapts to new different times. By creating a healthy foundation for growth and development, Rijeka will among the cities that build their vision on sustainable through smart management of their own resources and capacities, encouraging the digital and climate transition, as well as encouraging research and innovation, will result in positive effect of the Rijeka economy, but also reduce the negative impact of climate changes. Improved flexibility of the city and all its stakeholders will enable better response to crisis and create a better, more resilient and stable system of the city for all their citizens. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your words. Very inspiring and motivating. Thanks for the insights of the city of Rijeka, and very glad to have your city following these visions and concepts, and best luck for Rijeka. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I would like to introduce our next speaker for today, who is Steffi Trittel. She's the mayor of the municipality of Hohe and this since 2010. She's also the chairwoman of the Landfrauen Association of Saxony-Anhalt, Saxony. And yes, I would like to give you the floor. I'm very curious for your words and insights.
Hello, can you hear us? Can you hear us clear?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, we'd like to share our screen as well. So hello everybody, my name is Laura Fuber. I'm speaking on behalf of Mayor Trittel, and a little too far. And I'd like to talk about our visions of a smarter tomorrow in our rural area specifically. If we think of future living realities in 5, 10, or 20 years, we often think of huge cities, automated industry and flying cars, which is an image that's often shaped by films or visions of the future. What is rarely shown in these films are rural communities, and even more rarely how to come towards digital innovations. The municipality of Hohe is located in the federal state of Saxony-Anhalt in the district of Börde, and is a unified municipality since 2010, so only 10 years old. In our municipality are about 19,000 inhabitants, and they're living on about 17,200 hectares. It consists of 18 villages and small cities, and is very close to our state capital Magdeburg and crossed by 2 motorways. Our vision of broadband first started when we tried to attract young families. And there's often the great fear of slow internet connection, and therefore they will fly to the big cities. So in 2014, we started the exchange with citizens and businesses and explored the need and possibilities for area-wide internet connection. And the fast internet actually does pose a locational advantage for settlement of businesses and residents, for example, mothers and fathers who want to work from home. So our undertaking was funded by the federal government with approximately 230,000 euros and by the state of Saxony-Anhalt, and with financial support from the European Agricultural Fund for Rural Development with approximately 900,000 euros. With this, we were able to equip about 2,500 households and about 273 businesses with bandwidths of up to 50 Mbit per second in 2017.
Nisu još objavili ove rezultate od N1, ali po ovome što smo ovako saznali.
Can you hear us? Yeah, sorry. Since broadband is not enough, we wanted to increase our internet connection up to fiber optics. And since autumn 2020, the fiber optic network in the municipality is being expanded with the goal of achieving bandwidths of up to 1000 Mbit per second by mid-2021. For businesses, the symmetrical bandwidth even go up to 10 gigabit per second. And with that, the internet in our 18 villages will soon be faster than the motorway traffic running through the municipality. With the fast internet connections have come further visions of the municipality, for example, digital services of the administration. All great ideas, but how can we deal with a inhabitants structure where every third one is over 60 years old? So to find out more, we initiated a social space-oriented feasibility study in 2018, which evaluated the possibilities of digitalization with a view to different generations. Together with the Senior Citizens Council and the Youth Council, we worked out what digital offers are needed to prevent rural exodus and to increase the quality of life in their homeland. There was a great desire for digitalization, but many citizens also wanted training on the newest technologies and devices and were really unsure. Therefore, as a result, we implemented the project Digital Village, and we were able to set up the project within the framework of the digital agenda of Saxony-Anhalt, and together with a total of 200,000 euros in funding. The Digital Village of Hohe Börde is a digital competence training for all generations. So interested people could call us directly and get individual advice at home. For example, like how does my mobile phone work? What features does a new laptop need? Or how do I use a tablet? In addition to individual talks, there were also local groups where like-minded people could share their digital experiences and help each other. We also held various interactive lecture series, and the topics were based on the questions of the citizens, like how secure is online banking, or how do I create a digital photo book? We created instructional videos and trained on digital communication tools just like Zoom. And we acquired technical devices such as laptops or tablets so that our citizens could try them out live. Many older people reported that before the project, they were often overwhelmed by the digital possibilities and screens and all the offers. With the project, slow learning was possible and a direct contact person was available. And the need for advice did not diminish over the project. Even after the end of the project in February, we are working on consolidating the established structures through volunteer work. Corona, here you can see more about the project. For example, our group meetings. The pandemic gave us a really hard time with group meetings, but at the same time encouraged us to digitalize municipality services even more. And there's now a digital mayor's consultation hour once a month via video telephony. The schools and daycare centers have been equipped with modern technology, and council meetings take place digitally. Accounting is being digitized, and volunteer coordination can also take place digitally thanks to the innovations. New visions are also rising to create our future. The volunteer office in our municipality is currently installing a digital platform for sharing devices like party equipment or machines, which were formerly only by hearsay known and can now be borrowed by a simple search query. This helps people to get to know each other, to strengthen the community, and gives rise to their own ideas and projects, like, for example, a series of cooking videos, which is now being produced with local ingredients from this location. And also in March, we were able to secure over 300,000 euros in funding from the state of Saxony-Anhalt for further technical upgrading of our primary schools. And another big project is the co-working space in the municipality. We want to give people a future in their rural homeland and offer conditions under which home office and collaborative work is possible. It's still a long way to flying cars or assisting robots, but our municipality is far from lacking visions. Like digitalization is a lifelong learning process with efforts and milestones, and there's still so much potential and many goals on this path. But the most important one is to improve the lives of the people in the Hohe with the help of digitalization. So thank you for your attention, and yeah, thank you for this opportunity again.
Thank you very much for being here today and sharing with us your insights. Thank you. Yes, not sharing anymore. Thanks. Yeah, I really liked your introduction of going away from this picture of future cities in movies, but really coming to the reality, to our regions and smaller communities. What is happening there in reality? What do they need? So thank you very much. This was great to see. So I would like to move on to the next speaker, and I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name correctly. I will try. So Mrs. Merixel Montserrat y Mestres, the Councillor of the Municipality of Vilafranca del Penedès. She is in the Department of Education and International Relations since 2015, and as well working as a financial analyst as well since 2020 December. She's been part of the Catalonia Council School as one of the representatives of the local world. And just to mention one other field she's active in as well. She's part of the European Federation of Choral Singing. And I'm very happy to have you today. I'm curious for your visions or words you will share with us. Please, the stage is yours.
Thank you very, very much, first of all. Good morning. First of all, we would like to thank you for the invitation. Sorry, I am going to... yes, here. First of all, thank you for your invitation. It's a pleasure to participate in projects of international scope, which give us the opportunity to learn and exchange knowledge, while explaining what we are doing and sharing all the accumulated experience. Vilafranca del Penedès is a municipality of 40,000 inhabitants, capital of Alt Penedès region, which is the most important wine-growing region in Catalonia. We have important wineries such as Torres, Codorniu, Freixenet. We are between two large Mediterranean cities, such as Barcelona and Tarragona. We work determined to conserve this unique landscape, to promote wine tourism, ecological agriculture, reducing the carbon footprint, to favor local products and cultural and traditional heritage as Castellers, as you know by the moment. Since 2009, we have adhered to the European Initiative Covenant of Mayors, and we work within the framework of an action plan for sustainable energy and climate to achieve a 40% reduction in emissions by 2030. We are also a Biosphere certified tourist destination since 2017. This is that shows our determination with this action plan sustainable energy. We work resolutely for a bioregion of Penedès in which ecological healthy products, decarbonization projects, energy sovereignty and food sovereignty are a fact. With a view to 2030 in which a climate emergency, the overcoming of a pandemic COVID-19, the social balance are urgent challenges. And in our hand, we have the possibility of transforming them with future opportunities. We are an increasingly digital administration. We are currently, the Vilafranca del Penedès City Council, leading a Penedès Circular Program. This is a supra-municipal initiative that is being carried out in coordination with other local administrations, such as Mancomunitat and Municipis del Penedès, with the aim to start implementation of the circular economy and industrial symbiosis in the region from its productive fabric, with promoting collaboration between companies in the territory to make more efficient use of the resources of the Alt Penedès territory. And in this transition, innovation, digitalization, and collaborative work, among others, are key aspects in the transformation towards the circular economy. For example, the byproduct stock, the DOOR project. In this line, it has a lot of sense the experience that the Auroral project can bring. This initiative was born with the aim of increasing the connectivity of rural areas through a digital platform and allows creating synergies between companies in the agriculture sector that generate biomass that can be used by other companies demanding 0 kilometer green energy. In this way, we respond to need to make an energy transition less dependent on fossil waste and to find an outlet for a resource that we have in our region, such as wine, shoots, forest biomass. From Vilafranca City Council, the main stakeholder, we want to emphasize that we do not start from scratch. The City Council has been promoting a successful experience that at the municipal level for years, with very good results. This is the Vineyards for Heat project. This project was a pioneer in closing circle of biomass from the pruning of the vineyard and using it as a kilometer zero and renewable term energy source. Vilafranca del Penedès City Council was the coordinator project together with other 3 partners representing the entire biomass value chain. A cooperative of wine growers, Covides, a Catalan wine cluster, Innovi, and a cooperative of social initiative, Noubert. Currently, it is the agriculture cooperative of La Granada that collects the biomass. We are very proud of this project, despite knowing that we have many challenges as a territory. The project continues to be a successful case in the use of type of agricultural biomass that until a few years ago was treated as a waste, not as a resource. The project was co-financed by the LIFE program of the European Commission, and it was recognized by the European Commission itself with the Best LIFE, in addition to the Sustainable City award granted by the Spanish Ministry of Environment, and also it is included in the Bank of Good Practices. In 2016, we launched a heat district that connects 4 public facilities with high 500 kilowatts boiler in the municipality of Vilafranca del Penedès. This is a clear proof of how the wine pruning that is generated annually in the territory can be a renewable source in the term energy. This boiler works with 100% wine pruning collect in the territory. Consequently, the project also provides a local strategy to mitigate the effects of the climate change, in which companies in the sector of other facilities can be more competitive by achieving a low carbon emissions and a high valued area. The Vineyards for Heat project has achieved one of its key objectives, to demonstrate the viability of the circular economy model that converts a residual product, the wine shots, into renewable energy source in a decentralized and local environment, reducing CO2 emissions and generating green employment. We believe that the Auroral project can contribute to transferring this experience obtained from the public administration and in some participating companies and make it much more extensive so that it becomes a real and a viable resource at the level of the productive fabric and connect our biomass suppliers with companies thus promoting this energy transition. Participating will allow us to work on the transformation of this rural environment that needs to be more and more connected and that will be possible without technology and digitalization of the resources we have in the territory. A rural environment that must be a key in the fight against the climate change, decarbonization, energy transformation, digital transformation, healthy and local sustainable food. The lack of access of this rural environment to the nearby digital world can be a factor of social inequality in these territories, barriers to economic progress, and a factor of imbalance between cities in the territory. We are convinced that participating in the Auroral project will become a successful experience that will serve as an example of how digitalization helps us to optimize processes, connect needs with opportunities, and then increasingly towards a energy self-sufficiency. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and That's all.
Thank you very much for your presentation and for sharing your concepts and projects with us. Really exciting projects you have right now going on and following, and great visions you have. So all the best luck to reach them. Thank you.
And thank you, may I say, Celine, please let me just thank the municipalities or the communities, the local communities that are part of our H2020 Aurora project. That's the case of Penedès. We are very proud of those communities and those regions that are part of the project. So thank you so much. I think that as we are having so many interesting presentations and diverse point of view, perhaps it would be time, I don't know, Eddie, if you are there and available, but you were making questions and perhaps not directly answered, I don't know, but if you want to make some comments or to ask new questions to the mayors that are online, feel free. This session was for you, so that's an opportunity for dialogue, so don't hesitate. Please, Eddie.
Yes, thank you very much, Marcos. I mean, from these first four interventions, you already see the diversity of activities. I mean, if I looked at SIPO very much focusing on the education, then we saw two focusing really on the environmental part. I really like Hohe Berde on the rural side as well. And a little plea to the mayor of Hohe Burden as well. You know, please join us in this movement. You're not there on your own. You wouldn't be the smallest municipality that would join. We have Dingolstadt in Thüringen. They have 6,000 inhabitants, and the mayor decided to join us as well. So please join us, because it's really important to do that together. And it's really this summit, Marcos, that I would like to push through a little bit at the rural areas. Well, I think that's what it's for. My last comment is, with all these different angles that we have, what we haven't addressed yet is the cross-sectoral part. It's good to do things for the environment specifically, but if then your mobility department uses different technology and does their own thing, your energy department is not connected to what you do in the agricultural field, and your other departments, housing department, doesn't know anything what's happening in mobility, or they have another computer system, we're not going to get it done. And that's really what this living in .eu is about, to join the forces, to make sure that cross-sectorally we apply. Because often I find at the conferences we see smart cities as another sector to address. If you see me, the digitalization is another thing to do. It's actually not. It's part and parcel of the things that you are doing. And to Maritzel, you know, you mentioned the covenant of mayors, and what we're trying to do at your political level is precisely to bring the political leaders together in that movement, also for the digital transformation. And it's that combination of the political engagement that we seek, together with the technical work that we do on technical specifications and measuring and monitoring, that will build the strength of this unit. So that would really be my appeal, to also look at it cross-sectorally, and again in the context of your region. I must be really pleased to see that all of them indicated, even through a map, how they are integrating in an overall structure in the region, because that will be in the end the strength of the European Union in this, which is something you do not see in the other bigger entities. Even in China, or well, the United States is sometimes the companies federating the cities, but even there it's not necessarily done. So I think it's an important point to bring, maybe to look at that cross-sectoral. I see Mikael making precisely that point. The struggle is with skills and tools. Yes, the platforms, the technology can be done together, but even if you have the same technology, the skills and tools can also be better shared, and you see actually the people interacting more, the education sector benefiting from what has been done on the mobility sector. You mentioned the delivery of lunches, for example. Wouldn't it be fantastic if that was integrated with a self-driving car system? But anyway, I'm dreaming now, but it's that bigger dream that we should have together as 80,000 cities in Europe together with the regions, with the national member states and the European Commission to build it. It's not easy. It's probably the hard way of trying to get there. But I think with that joint ambition, we should be able to do it.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you. It was not exactly planned but it would be, that's very nice to keep having these comments and opinions from your side. And I could say that indeed the point you are raising is critical. We need to do more integration. That's one of the challenges. I would say that's indeed a key challenge, or the key challenge for H2020 Aurora is indeed to achieve the integration of the several components for smart communities, because there is no way it may work even more in the rural areas where critical mass may not be present. There is no way it can work without integration. So that's a fundamental challenge. And personally, Ed, if you allow me the comment, I see the challenge of skills as crucial to achieve integration, because we have to have more diverse skills, and the skills themselves, they have to be brought to people in a cross-sectorial way. And if we don't have the skills, we will keep working isolated. So that's critical for the future of smart communities, the future of digitalization, the future of indeed the success of the European agenda, such as the digital decade, to pay attention to skills, to invest in skills. That skills are the future, and that's really, really the crucial challenge. And it is, and once overcome, is going to help us very much on integration. So now we have more mayors to come, and some are records, even because of issues related to language. So Celine, please take the lead again.
Yes, thank you. So I'm glad the next speaker is still in live and present here already. So Mr. Dovydas Kaminskas, who is the mayor of the city of Touraj. And he as well was the coordinator of Touraj region under the supervision of 2015, as well as being the advisor of to the mayor of Touraj district municipality. And he also got the global Lithuania, I'm sorry for the pronunciation, award for international experience in the region. And as well, currently he's a member of the Touraj district and city local action group. So I'm very pleased that you're here today with us. And I'm curious for your visions and ideas for your city, please. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Celine. Hello, dear colleague mayors, Mr. Chairman, and other participants. I'm very happy to be here, to participate, to see what other regions are doing all over Europe. I think that the leadership of the mayors at this pandemic regime that we are living now are the crucial moments, because we are the ones who have to implement all those changes in the regular people lives, and our leadership is really, really important. Before we start, I want to share this screen and just to show what we are doing here in Tauraj. As you say, we say Tauragė in Lithuanian. And before I start with all our goals, what we are trying to achieve here, just a little bit of information about where we are. So we are in western part of Lithuania. We are 40,000 inhabitants municipality. 25,000 of them are living in the city, and 15,000 of inhabitants are living in the rural area around. And the budget is around 50 million euros this year. We'll see what happens next year. So I am, as Celine mentioned, I'm the mayor of Tauragė. Before I was the advisor to the mayor from 2015, and in the last 2 years I'm a directly elected mayor and the youngest mayor in Lithuania at this moment. And I want to introduce what we're doing here in Tauragė. So I will show you 4 main goals and try to broadly talk about what we are doing in Tauragė. So one of our main goals is sustainable and smart public transportation. So first of all, in 2016, we created sustainable mobility plan for our city, and right now we are creating it for our region with 4 other municipalities. We introduced electric buses this year. This year we introduced 3 buses, and next year we are getting 4 more electric buses, electric cars for the municipality. So we plan to have all electric cars until 2030. But I believe it will be much faster. I believe in 2025 we will have all the fleet of municipal cars, electric cars. This year, actually last year, when the pandemic struck, we introduced a free public transportation because we are subsidizing it a lot, and we calculated that we get from tickets only 80,000 euros a year, and we spend 1 million a year. And then we thought about where we are getting those 80,000 euros a year. So we are getting those money from the people that already don't have money and they use the public transportation. So we decided just to give 100,000 and have free public transportation, and which is very effective, renewed. Electric buses are going even more. So very, very happy with this decision, and the people are also happy that they started, a lot of other people started using public transportation. Therefore, the traffic of road cars decreased, and we believe that in the next steps it will decrease more. Also, we are preparing the pilot project with the integrated regional transport system and single electronic ticket with other municipalities in the region, which is 100,000 inhabitants. Of course, our priority is for motorless transport, but there's a lot of those technical issues like bike roads and other different part of infrastructure which is really expensive. So we are going toward this little by little, of course. Right now we're doing a project with the bicycle storage behind apartment buildings. So this year we'll introduce that one. So this is broadly what we're doing in this field. So one of the decisions are already made, and others are prepared to be made this and the next year. Other goal is renewable energy and energy efficiency. So in our region, we have the largest wind power plant park in Baltic states, and the next investments are coming. I believe 160 million euros. We hope that it will go through all the bureaucratical processes and we'll have that investment. Also, we are doing a lot of projects where solar power plants are built on the public building groups, on schools, hospitals, and other buildings, cultural houses, and other buildings. So right now we have about 20 of them. On the municipal building, we also have one solar power plant. So 99% of all the central heating comes from the biomass. We are using biomass from here, from Lithuania, from around the municipality. Also, we had the project of ESCO model for street lighting. So we renewed around 3,500 illuminators, and before we shut down the lighting during the night in some areas of the region. But right now we have the light all over the night. It just it's smart lighting, so it gets a little bit darker, but it still gives the lighting for the streets. So it is 50% less consumption, and it didn't cost us €1. It's made by ESCO model, which is financed by the private partner, and we will pay those money in 10 years period. So it's a very good project. Also, we are preparing to have the remote solar power plant, and maybe in the next few years we will give the the electricity for the LED lighting from our solar power plant, which will have it remotely. This is our goal. So we'll have all the circle, you know, the renewable energy, very effective lighting, and very good services. And of course, one of the main issues here is renovation of public apartment buildings. We are one of the leaders in Lithuania, and we are going towards this goal as well. One of other important is smart and healthy communities. So we are preparing a STEAM center and modern labs in school. We have creativity and entrepreneurship labs for school students. It's like a project and competency building for teachers. One of our main directions towards smart community. We are using those innovative Teachers Lead Tech programs, junior achievement programs. We are rewarding students for good results. We spend around 25,000 euros a year. We have a co-working space. It's called Spiečius in Lithuanian. It's an entrepreneurship co-working space. Also, we opened the swimming pool, which we built from only municipal budget, which is a really rare example in Lithuania because most of them are financed by the government. We are planning the new sports and culture center. This year, we plan to begin the construction. Of course, priority for sustainable tourism infrastructure, because around 38% of our municipality is covered by forest, and we have national reserve forest. We have regional park forests, so it's really a beautiful one. When we talk about industry, the most of the industry is manufacturing industry, non-chemical, and we have the most developed private industrial park in Lithuania, which is family-owned and family-run. And the last part of my presentation is that our city is open and ready for change. So we already have the new strategic development plan, which is based on SDGs. And we want to implement the key indicators for sustainable development and show it online for public use and access. We have, you know, sometimes bureaucratical projects are really long and really, you know, boring. So we have the municipality project management page where people can go and see where the project is now, what is done already. In that project, so they can get the idea how long takes the bureaucratical processes, and people they sometimes they just want it to happen very fast, everything. So we started this project. Also, we have the all job offers on one page. We have annual municipality reports shown on other different page. Oh, the one that I get award from the president of Lithuania. It was the networking with expatriates, because myself, I've been living in Denmark, in Copenhagen for 2 years. I've been doing my master's degree, and after my master, I came back to my home country and started the Global Tauragė project, where we're doing various of soft landing things for people to come back to their home country and the home city. And we have the honorary ambassadors network in all over the world. Right now, I think we have 30 ambassadors. This year, actually next week, we'll start with the participatory budget, and the voting for the project will start next week. So I'm very happy for that project. I believe that in the future, it will get bigger and bigger. And we have ambition. We have the ambition to become the greenest municipality in Lithuania. And one day, we'll go the Vexia example. We want to become the European Green Leaf Award. So to get the European Green Leaf Award, maybe not next year, maybe not in the 5 years, but I hope that during the next 10-year period, we can get the European Green Leaf Awards. And of course, we joined actually last week we joined the European Mayor's Pact for Green Europe. And we are doing the CDP reporting for better management of environmental impact. So this is what we're doing here in Tauragė, and I want to thank for the possibility. And I'm very happy to to get the experience from you, and maybe you can see some experience from our city. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Happy to have you here. And I really like the last part of your presentation, and good luck with your strong ambition for the award. That's a great goal you have. And very nice how you stressed that your city is ready for change and you really want to go forward. And I hope that this summit sort of brings you a little forward, or you get some exchange you might need or take use of it. So thank you very much for these words. Next, we will have not a live contribution, but a recording, if I'm right, well informed, from Francisco Balufo Avila, the councillor of the city of Huelva, who is the representative of the government team of the tourism area and the promotion of the city. And as well, he is in charge of the relationship with the university, where he has been the councillor of the social board. And I think now we're ready for the recording.
Bueno, pues para nosotros desde el Ayuntamiento de Huelva, el proyecto Huelva Ciudad Universitaria es un proyecto, primero, que nos ilusiona muchísimo y segundo, que creemos que es un proyecto clave para el futuro de la ciudad. Huelva es una ciudad del sur de España que tiene aproximadamente unos 145.000 habitantes, una ciudad que ha reivindicado históricamente su universidad y que fue también un hito histórico la consecución de la misma. Una universidad que va a cumplir dentro de poco pues, sus 30 años, sus primeros 30 años, y que para nosotros es un hecho fundamental que queremos además pues, seguir trabajando de la mano del equipo rectoral de la Universidad de Huelva para que Huelva sea aún más, si cabe, pues, esa ciudad universitaria que nosotros queremos. La Universidad de Huelva para Huelva es muy importante desde todos los puntos de vista, pues económico, cultural, social, evidentemente desde el punto de vista educacional, y para nosotros pues era un reto importante asumir este proyecto de la rectora, de María Antonia Peña, y así tanto ella como el alcalde de Huelva, Gabriel Cruz, pues asumieron este proyecto con esa ilusión. Es un proyecto que va a tener 12 ejes principales y que para la ciudad de Huelva es pues, un reto que vamos a comenzar, que ya ha comenzado y que vamos a poner en marcha en muy breve espacio de tiempo, y que va a suponer un antes y un después, evidentemente, en la relación de la ciudad con su universidad. Vamos a trabajar pues, desde muchos puntos de vista, puntos muy importantes para el futuro de las ciudades, y por supuesto pues ahí va a estar el Ayuntamiento de Huelva de la mano de la universidad. Vamos a trabajar pues desde el punto de vista de la sostenibilidad, de la movilidad, de la cultura, del deporte, de la propia urbanización, de la propia trama urbana de la ciudad con su universidad, y para nosotros pues es un proyecto que vamos a empezar con eso, con muchísima ilusión. Estamos trabajando ya en poner en marcha iniciativas medioambientales, sostenibles, que tienen también mucho que ver con la movilidad, con el uso de la bicicleta, de transportes ecológicos, con cero emisiones, vehículos eléctricos. Vamos a unir los dos sistemas, tanto el de la universidad como el de la ciudad, para la recarga conjunta, por ejemplo, de vehículos eléctricos, o el uso también de esos medios de transporte ecológicos, tanto para uso de ciudadano como universitario. Vamos también a unificar criterios para que los universitarios puedan acceder en condiciones ventajosas tanto al transporte público de la ciudad como a eventos públicos, culturales, deportivos, también que se pongan en marcha desde las administraciones públicas, y en todo ese espacio estamos trabajando, ¿no? Yo creo que en definitiva es un proyecto, como ya he dicho antes, muy importante tanto para la ciudad de Huelva como para su universidad. Ese vínculo que existe desde siempre entre la Universidad de Huelva y su ciudad, entre Huelva y su universidad, Es un vínculo duradero, es un vínculo que pretendemos hacerlo mucho más fuerte aún y que vamos a trabajar en ello para que en un breve espacio de tiempo sea una realidad palpable tanto para los ciudadanos de Huelva como para todos esos universitarios que vienen desde fuera de nuestra ciudad, desde nuestra provincia, desde nuestra región Andalucía, también desde el resto de España y muy importante también para nosotros. Sabemos que es también muy importante ese posicionamiento internacional para la Universidad de Huelva y también evidentemente para nuestra ciudad, como es también el reto de que sigamos siendo una de las principales universidades, una de las universidades punteras en traer alumnos internacionales a nuestra universidad y por ende también a nuestra ciudad. En ese reto estamos, en ese reto vamos a seguir trabajando de la mano de la Universidad de Huelva y como ya he dicho antes, pues va a ser sin duda alguna una realidad en muy poco espacio de tiempo que vamos a poder disfrutar tanto los universitarios, tanto los miembros de la comunidad universitaria de la Universidad de Huelva como todos los ciudadanos de Huelva y por tanto toda la ciudad de Huelva.
Thanks for the recording. So, as the last speaker for today's session, I would like to welcome Annabella Gaspar Freitas, who is the mayor of the city of Tomar.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, all of you. Well, I'm not going to share projects with you. I'd like to share a few ideas. Because while it's true that more than half of the world population lives in urban space, it's also true that we must face this challenge with a more widespreading territorial logic, and not only in a urban intelligence approach based on smart cities, taking advantage of the digital transformation, then the green transition, and in line with the new European Bauhaus. So how to respond to the needs of each municipality while guaranteeing an articulation and different territorial scales? I believe that will involve the creation of cognitive communities in which the planning and management of process is based on the use of the information and communication technologies and the use of advanced techniques that allow an efficient and sustainable functioning of the various subsystems that contribute to sustainable and committed development of the territory. In this sense, it's important to develop new frameworks from the design, execution, monitoring, and evaluation of public data-driven policies, where we look at regions as platforms with a structuring role in their digital transformation and indispensable foundation for a new artificial intelligence paradigm, supporting the planning and management of the territory, the development of products and service, and provide information with an effective focus on people. In order for everything I told you to be possible, it's necessary to overcome three major challenges: connectivity, ensuring full coverage of internet access for the administration, for the companies, academics, and citizens. Second challenge, promote the creation of a unique entry point for a data infrastructure that interconnects information resources capable of creating a territorial intelligence center. And finally, skills, developing training programs for the new industrial revolution in emergency and instruction areas to fulfill the goals which a digital transformation, industry 4.0, and science of data and artificial intelligence. Well, thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your ideas and words. Great to have you here. So yes, I think I can hand over to my colleague Marcus now.
Thank you, Celine. I think that we are kind of closing the session, so it was really wonderful to have this diverse view of perspectives coming from the people in charge of the communities and indeed the cities and the towns. So thank you so much for coming. I know that mayors are always busy and with difficult schedules and taking care of everything at the same time. It's hard life. So that's one more reason why I'm so thankful for having your presence. And now to close the session, I would leave to Eddie Artog again to make some comments, and after we could have our vice president, who is, we could see several examples of how to integrate policies related to education and digital. Those are indeed two areas that are under the political supervision of Mrs. Carmen Carvalheira, Vice President of Alentejo. So we are going to have some final remarks. And now perhaps, Eddie, if you could help us making some final comments.
Yes, well, first of all, Marcos and Celine, thank you very much for moderating. I haven't seen further questions in the chat, but I think if the listeners are still having questions, I'm sure Marcos and Celine will take them. That's one point. Second point, the importance of languages. I've noticed I've been in the Commission for 31 years, and for 30 years we tried always to say, oh, let's all speak English, you know, and then you come to the council, and then people that are highly educated through the London School of Economics insist to speak Portuguese, Italian, Dutch, and all sorts of language, even though their English is absolutely perfect. I think, and with COVID, from one day to the other, we all went to English. And what I would like to do in the movement that I chair, and I've actually asked the colleagues to look into that, is to bring back the linguistic diversity in the conversations that we have, because I do think that sometimes there is a bit of an inhibition. So in the way that I manage I will bring back the linguistic diversity again. I think it's important, particularly when you deal with citizens at local level. You cannot expect all of the citizens to really communicate with us in English. My last point is about the digital skills and also the solutions that we can provide. Now, I am going to see whether I can share one screen. Yes, I'm going to share this screen with you. I hope it works because I have two screens open at the same time. And the reason why I share this screen with you, if everything is well, you see a screen that says solutions. Yeah. And this is really the solutions that we're trying to offer through the livingin.eu movement. And there's only 4 for the moment that we have registered. We call them iconic projects. The heart of everything was these urban data platforms. And probably none of the speakers in the room is interested in this. It's the only thing I'm interested in, but none of you will be interested, because that is really the engine room of a digital transformation, having the hardware, the software with the right technical specifications in a European open way. Most of you leave that to your chief digital officers and to sort all of that out with my colleagues. But it is at the heart of what we're trying to do to build up that independence also in Europe. From that is a project that I very much like. We can construct an urban digital twin, and I won't have to explain the mayor of Sipho what an urban digital or local digital twin is, because they're very much advanced in Helsinki. But it would be good if also smaller communities would be able to benefit from such local digital twins. And I'm quite sure that in terms of human resources and financial capacity, they will not be able to do that on their own. So through this platform, we try to offer you basically lock, stock and barrel solutions that you can have. But the two I want to focus on are actually the one that you see at the right bottom, which is a so-called digital neighborhood instrument. And it's really trying to address the digital skills for those 169 million citizens even lacking the basic skills. Very important. It came up at a number of occasions today. And together we're trying to really learn from each other, and not just by replication, but by really building those instruments together with the partners that we have. And again, we would love it if you would like to join us. The nicest gadget that you can bring with you today is a so-called citizens card. That does not come from the European Commission. It actually comes from a number of cities, particularly led by the Spanish city of Zaragoza. which offers its citizens one card with which it can access all the different services in the city in a digital format. Again, it's there. Why not use it all over Europe? So what we are trying to do through this platform is to really bring this all together for you to basically benefit from the wisdom of the peers and maybe contribute some of your wisdom from which the peers can benefit. And that is really what we're trying to do. And it's, in my view, precisely at the heart of the discussion we've had today. So I really was encouraged by the diversity of the input that we got from the colleagues. And again, my plea is to really work on this together. And we as a European Commission are open for business directly with you, but not without your region and your national authority, of course. We don't do this behind the backs of the other levels of governance, but really with you. And I encourage you, those of you that have the time, also to go to the next session when we meet the national and regional level. But that's a little plug that I think Celine and Marcos, you should probably make.
Thank you, Eddie, and thank you also for bringing the example of those 4 examples. How regions, cities, municipalities can cooperate to co-develop solutions, because indeed that's the primary way of scaling up, is to co-design, to co-develop. And one of the dreams we have on H2020 Aurora is to help to develop those smart communities that are a sort of digital prosumers. So they are contributing to create, to develop environments, to develop contents, to develop data, to generate digital services. They are doing it, offering, but they are also demanding those services. So if we have the right skills in place, all the communities may be digital prosumers, and then we can really get an European strength for that digital environment. And that's very much what Living in You it's about, so that's great you brought the point. I have to thank all the mayors. Don't take me badly, but let me have a special word for the Portuguese city of Tomar, for Mrs. President da Câmara, that's how we say here, mayors, Mrs. the Mayor, Anabela Freitas, thank you so much. And now we are going to have some closing remarks from my Vice President here from Alentejo. So please, Mrs. Carmen Carvalheira, the floor is yours. Bye. Sorry, forgot to thank also to my co-moderator, Celine Sauer. I was leaving without thank you, so bye, take care.
Thank you very much. I'm so glad to see here so many presentations, so many places committed to this work of digital transition. It's so important to be here sharing this knowledge, sharing your projects, but also your difficulties, because some of, and almost all of your projects here presented, we can duplicate it and we can adapt to our regions. So when we can know about your problems, about your difficulties, it's when we can adapt, we can also passing by these difficulties and getting more and more territory using digital transition. I would like to highlight 3 points. The first of one, I'm repeating all you, the need for skills. We need to have very well trained people working in this, working together to put this in the territory, but also to make sure that everybody, the people, the citizens are here working together, and we can create smart, not only smart regions, but also in smart communities, but also smart citizens, because we need to ensure that we can put everybody working with the new solutions we are bringing. A second point that most of us has referred, that is the need to have fast internet that can reach all. Is important to ensure that first, before start working, we have effectively fast internet. And for last, of course, again, the need to share this, the knowledge, and more events like corals and the use for these projects is essential, that we can collect the best examples and to put and to duplicate this in the territory. So I'm not taking more of your time. We are fast starting a new section. Thank you all for being here, and I wish soon we can be together all, and we are going to work together. Thank you very much.